our soul's library of anything and everything that's happened in this lifetime or the other lifetime. Sometimes I would have been a female, I would have been a male. Imagine an apple and then cut that into 1,000 slices. So once you do that and you take a little slice out, which actually is almost like paper thin, right? It's such a thin slice that comes out because you've cut it into 1,000 pieces. That's one lifetime for your soul. Now, what do I want to learn? Maybe my soul wants to learn about love. Another time it might be like, well, okay, but just sort of done with that. Why don't I have someone who breaks my heart? So it wants to understand, well, how do I expand when I receive so much love? How do I contract? What happens when I do not have love? It's almost like different science experiments. So if you wanted to change your story at any point in time, you can always do that because you are the creator. It's very intention based. So we feel like it's all happening to us, but actually life is a mirror of what's inside. So there can be karmic patterns. Let's say someone just keeps having toxic relationships, one after the other, after the other.
I think I signed up for that one.
Me too. Me too.
Talking about Akashic Records today, and you being an energy coach and everything that you're doing, you know, you're very much heavily in the service industry right now on the spiritual side of things. So I'd love for you to tell me a bit about how you got into what you were doing and why this work is so important right now.
I love the question because I think a lot of people will resonate with the story in the sense that I began, or my life really started a lot like, general life, a lot of people leading the same way. So I grew up not really knowing what I wanted to do, and I was the good girl. I followed what my mom and dad wanted me to do. I followed perhaps what society wanted me to do. And so much that I didn't even know that that's what I was following. That's the pattern that I was doing. So I'm an engineer. I'm an MBA by background. I've led multi-billion-dollar projects across various companies across the globe. And the reason I say that is because I was such a black and white person. I was so far away from the spiritual world, so to speak. Life was very logical. Life was very scientific, which I think is a lot of how the world operates. And that's why I was saying that in that background sense, a lot of people would understand that. And because I've been there. And so as I fast forward in that life, there's this time where I'm starting to feel really burnt out. I'm not really motivated by life anymore. And things are not working. I know they're not working, but I did not know really what to do about it. So I did try that time to meditate, which actually for my engineer mind did not work then, because I would meditate for 5 minutes. And that was really hard, like calming my brain down for 5 minutes, not having another thought. Like, that was so hard. But then if I did it, let's say, or if I, calmed it for just 2 minutes, I would be like, okay, so I had a good meditation today, and now what?
Yeah.
Like, how's my life shifted with that? Because I would come back to the same world, and that would still be the same chaos, the same disconnection, the same overwhelm, the same stress, the same problems that I was feeling as before. So it hadn't changed. And to me, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
I tried the self-care stuff. I tried the affirmations, then they weren't really landing in me. Now, that time, my son was a little bit above 2 years old, but, just slightly above. And I was pregnant with my daughter. The pregnancy was going really well, but I wasn't doing well. Like, if I went to the doctors, yes, the results were okay, everything was fine. But I know my first pregnancy with my son, and then this pregnancy, it was different. Like, I would wake up crying, like proper crying. And a lot of times it was like that. So I knew I was in trouble. Like, something was really wrong. I just didn't know how to fix it. And then one day I woke up. Actually, I had a very good sleep. And I woke up feeling like that, but I just did not have any body movements. I did not feel her moving as much at night. So that was a troublesome sign. Went to the doctors, realized that she had no heartbeat. Then I had to give birth to a stillborn, which was so opposite what I'd ever imagined. And I think within all of that and after all of that is when the world really broke down for me, like the earth below, underneath just slipped away because there was no way of hiding anymore. And also because like my emotions were finally so hard hitting, the shame was very real. The shame around, that was a job I was supposed to do and I lost my child. The guilt that I slept through it, the questions that maybe I caused it. And I really wanted to reach out. I really wanted to connect with her. All those things. And I was like, well, am I a good mom? Because, maybe I've done something here. So I really needed to reach out to her. So with this, that is where the mindset shift really started happening, because the stuff that I was trying to look at earlier, all the logical thinking and so on, this time I had to believe that there was something that was far greater than me and my little brain could comprehend. So I started my journey into energy healing, started my journey into Akashic Records. Didn't quite start like that. I did go to a lot of other intuitives. I tried to find my answers through them. But I wanted to connect with my daughter by myself because I wanted to have a conversation with her. I wanted to understand if she was doing okay. I wanted to have a chat with her, explain my things, like sort of ask for forgiveness. I just really wanted that. So I would be asking that time to the universe again and again that please show me a way. I need to connect with her. And that's what got me into energy healing and Akashic Records. And what I learned was that this felt really hard in the body, but actually, I had a soul contract with my daughter. So I had asked her that I'm going to go on earth, I'm going to live this life. And if you feel like I'm wasting my life again, like I'm just repeating the same things, I'm not progressing, I'm not evolving through the pain, then come and like really kick me because I don't want to waste another life. So they had tried. My daughter, all the other spirit guides, they tried again and again, like, giving me those signs where I was feeling really disconnected, where I would wake up crying. They were giving me the signs all along. I just wasn't ready to fully receive it. And so they had to bring out the full thing that, hey, girl, you need to stop. Like, you need to think of life another way. And so that's what they did. So it's really what I asked for. And so this is the biggest thing that I want to share with the listeners as well. That there's lots of times when we feel that life's really bad to us and it feels like we are the victim. Maybe consider changing that question and just going like, okay, why is this happening to me? Really from the evolution perspective and really from the learning perspective, because there is so much more to your story than just that, whatever that is happening. And your soul, your spirit guides, they're all looking after you. They've got unconditional love for you. You've got support, even if it feels like it's not feeling like that on earth. But you're so totally loved.
That's a beautiful message, Kanika. Tell me, what was it like when you first reconnected with your daughter? What was that like?
It was like homecoming, but in a very different way. So first of all, and I think that's a big message as well, that between me and between all that connection, the biggest barrier, as much as I wanted it, was me. Which sounds so counterintuitive. Like, how can I be blocking my awareness? How can I be blocking what I really dearly wanted?
Yeah.
But the first step that I had to do for that was really sit down and forgive myself. And I remember doing that exercise, doing that meditation, and just crying a lot. I was forgiving myself that it's okay. So forgiveness also meant like being able to love myself, being able to accept that I slept that night, being able to accept that, okay, something happened and that's fine. It was that. There was that part which was disconnecting me. So once I could do that, so when I was reconnecting with her, she wanted to come through. She was like sending me signs all throughout. She was always there. Whenever I would write some letters, even before, like, I could actually tap in and properly talk to her, she was always there. I could feel her. And this is how I know it. Because I just had her presence in my womb, right? Like I hadn't known her in the body.
Yeah.
That was the only connection I had. And so you think, like, how can someone like that communicate? Now, when I was pregnant with her, there was a special tea that I would drink a lot. And that tea has an aftertaste. It's like a sweet aftertaste. It's an Indian herbal thing that you get, which is not even properly a tea, but I would take that a lot with hot water. And so it was my tea.
Yeah.
But it just has a very sweet taste, and it's a taste that you cannot miss. Now, I would have that after I would have, anything. I would have it like during a long drive. I hadn't had anything before, after, like for a long time. So it was unmistakably something that was just coming through. And then that's how I started knowing, okay, she's here with me. And so she like she was trying her level best to connect.
Yeah.
The only person in between was me. So when I had a chat with her, when I could really just sit down, all that was needed was just for me to sit down and ground my own emotions, not feel as emotional about it, like be able to forgive myself and just allow perhaps just a thought that, okay, let's just connect with her and it's okay. Like, even if we can just start with that, any parent who's gone through anything similar like this, I can guarantee I've taken other parents through the same exercise, who've also lost their kids. And in one session, 1 hour, I've been able to help them to connect with their kids. So it is possible, and all you need to do is just ground yourself, ground your emotions, then you can have that connection with your child. So with her, that was beautiful, because I was like, hey, how are you? My first question was, how are you? Are you okay? And are you fine? And she was okay. She was good. Then I told her that I was feeling really sad, and what did she want out of me, and why did she come and why did she not come then? Because I hadn't planned to have a baby. She was like the surprise New Year gift, and then she wasn't there. And she told me the soul contract, and she told me that she just wanted me to be happy. I asked her, okay, how do you want me now, and how do you want to be around with us, and so on. So we just had some understanding there around how she would be in touch. But I know that she's always around. Even now, like there are times where something's really, like there's a significant shift or something that's happening in my life. And I haven't, again, eaten anything like that, but I'll just have that taste in my mouth. I'm like, okay, there she is. And she's just saying that it's okay.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Wow,
It's
that's really
yeah, it's
beautiful.
different. It's different and it's same. Like it's just, for me, it's just so strong that there's nothing like where I say, oh, this is just something that I'm making up. It's just not that, because it's not a common taste.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. And like thank you so much for sharing that with me, because I think it's something that we don't hear being spoken about a lot. Loss like this for moms, and um you know it can be isolating. It can be such an isolating experience, and it can be also equally confusing. There's so much grieving, and there's so much like that self blame that goes on with that. So I think you talking about this offers such a level of comfort. Not to say that, of course, like you have to go through the grieving process and feel those emotions, right? Because that's what we're here to experience. We're here to experience all emotions on like the whole spectrum of it, right? But at the same time, like you speaking about being able to ground yourself, and so that you can make that connection, right? And that, like our loved ones, when they transition to the other side, that they're still around, they're just in a different form, and it's just up to us to kind of remove our own blockage so that we can make that connection. So thank you for speaking on that. That was beautiful.
I think that's just a passion for me. I never knew it at the time, but for me, that's why parenting and all the parenting bonds, everything that we experience as a parent, it is just something where I want to bring peace to as many people as I can. Also, just around this grief and loss, it's not just the mom. I've realized it's also the dad, it's also the family. Like,
Yeah.
I know about another client, and when her mom lost her daughter, she was probably 6 or 7 at the time. And,
Mm.
as usual in families, when something like that happens, you sort of don't talk about it because that's mostly how a lot of us know how to deal with the situation.
Mm.
What that creates, though, it creates that silent wound. It's still there. You haven't addressed it, it's there. And even for the other people in the family, that's still there as well because they were awaiting something too. And for this client that I looked, she was sad because she had a family of brothers and she really wanted that sister. And so
Mm.
even after years, when I'd looked at her, like she's in her 40s now, so that would have been in her when she was 6 or 7 years old, so that long ago,
Mm.
and she was still carrying that because
Wow.
if she had a sister, she would have had a bridesmaid. It would just have been different that way.
Yeah.
It would just have
Yeah.
been a different bonding. So oftentimes we think we are protecting. Oftentimes, actually, we're dealing with our own grief. So we don't even know how to handle other people then. But when you can, it is a good idea. My son was a little bit, oh, well, 2.5 when I lost her. So my son did not know anything about it. And then there's one time, probably he was about 6, and he and
Mm.
I were having a conversation, and he said something like, I'm your only child. And I did not want to lie to him. And I said, well, mom had a daughter as well. And then he was like, well, what happened and where is she? I said, well, she passed away. And
Mm.
he's like, okay, because he's a 6-year-old child, like just trying to grasp something like that. If you don't make it so big, children can just be taking things in face value. So he sort of
Yeah.
digested that and he's like, oh, and he's like, why didn't you tell me? I said, well, 2, you were very little. I didn't even know how to explain that to you. And he's like, okay, but you should have told me. You should have told me sooner. I'm like, all right, how soon?
Wow.
When could I have told you? And he said, well, when I was 4, you could have told me.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. And then his next question there was, well, so is there anything else that you're hiding from me? I'm like, no, hun, you know everything. You know everything about me. I'm not hiding anything from you. And he's like, okay. But I'm sharing this again that with this perspective that we feel that they don't know, maybe we haven't talked about it, they don't know, but your kids are ready. You don't need to make it as big. You don't need, but whenever you feel, if you want to, it's an invitation. You can tell them. They'll appreciate the honesty. And my son's very innocent question then leads to that thing like, yes, I mean, in some sense, it's very logical. Like, if they
Yeah.
feel that we haven't told them something, it can lead to, oh, okay, there were other secrets in my family that I wasn't told about. So, if you want
Yeah.
to have an open relationship, it starts with us. And whenever you feel you can, and it does not just apply to this, it applies to other situations as well. um, I I grew up in a family which always wanted to protect me, and I think a lot of parents do. And in that sense, there were lots of things that were hidden. Not that they wanted to hide, but they just felt that, okay, I was better off not knowing them. But perhaps there is a possibility where whatever we are going through, at work, if you're feeling down or so on, we feel like our kids should see our best self.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of pressure on us. But also, we're not really preparing them for what life's about. So, whenever you can, give them a little small snippet like, okay, mom's very tired today because mom had this at work, or or mommy's having a difficult time with this and this person. You don't need to go into bigger details, but as neutral and as sort of like information you can give it to them, I think it's a better awareness for them.
That is true. I'm all for parents being open and honest with your kids. Of course, explaining things in a way that is age appropriate. But yeah, like that is so important, because when your kids get older and they start finding things out, then they do feel like, they feel like, okay, why was this such a secret? Or they feel like they've been lied to, they
Hmm.
feel deceived, and they have a lot of emotions around that. Like I definitely have. There are many things that I can think about that were not spoken about in my family, and I felt like had I had the information earlier, it could have helped me in different ways, maybe given me a better perspective of things, helped me to understand certain things better, and even how to navigate certain things in my life better. So, yeah, I think oftentimes, of course, with good intention, we want to protect our kids, but we also need to be very realistic and be open about talking to kids about this, like death and all of these things that are difficult to talk about. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, and the other thing I see with kids, and my son's obviously been the other great teacher, I feel that a lot of times as parents, we think we know better.
Yeah.
Like, the little kids, little bodies, and we just know better than them.
Yeah.
And I think we need to at least recognize that we are all souls. We are all souls who have a body. So, yes, in a
Mhm.
body, there is this tiny awareness sometimes, you need to help them with even toilet training or simple things, which might feel like, okay, we need to really help them and they don't know things. But we're discounting their abilities. We're discounting their abilities to fully understand and grasp. We're not fully comprehending them as a soul and
Mm.
how much awareness and how much fuller potential they're bringing in. And yes, they
Mhm.
might need a lot of things to learn as a soul as well. They might need a lot of things to learn, and that's okay. That's why we have them, because they'll teach us something, we'll learn something from them. It's a two-way process. But it's good to perhaps consideration is that maybe we can treat them as fuller individuals. We can see them, their age is tiny, but they're wiser souls.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Our kids have much more potential than we give them credit for. In many ways, they can be much wiser than us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
children are definitely some of our greatest teachers.
Mm. Like, I
Yeah.
think, for example, kids know how to smile so much easier. And it is a life skill. Like, really. So, first, we sort of take that away. We if we follow the program of life generally that the world operates on, it's like, okay, you sort of have to get serious about whatever you need to do about your studies and so on, then get
Yeah.
serious about your work and get really serious, right? Like, that's serious. It's serious stuff. And
Yeah.
everybody will say, stop fooling around with just your music or whatever it is that you do for fun. It's almost like, well, the fun's not okay, so
Yeah.
why don't you just focus more and settle and do the right thing. And so we
Yeah.
all are supposed to follow that pattern. Guess what? Like, okay, then the pattern goes on, then you're supposed to marry or find a partner, then you're supposed to settle down. Like, generally, that's the pattern you're supposed to then earn in life. You're supposed to then, buy more things, get a house, and so on, start a family. Like, that's the pattern. And
Yeah.
usually, a lot of us follow that pattern. We follow that pattern, we come at the other end, and that's like the 30s crisis, the 40s crisis, the 50s crisis.
Yeah.
When we go, well, we're not really happy with our life. Well, guess what? What happened? You knew that, right? You
Yeah.
operated out of the system. And then we say, oh, now I'm not happy.
Yep.
So our kids can really teach us how to stay happy. And
Yeah.
when someone says, I don't know my purpose or I feel disconnected, kids can be the biggest teachers there. Perhaps we can also, instead of putting all that pressure, because we're trying to do the same template on them as well, pressurize them for the same template that does not make us feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Exactly.
we let them be, there's so much possibility for us to operate from our own light, because happiness is coming when you're operating on your divine path. Like whatever that is that you came down to do as a soul, that's when your happiness is coming. So it's really whatever lights you up, that's your path. Like it's not more complicated than that. Very
Yeah.
simple. And so if we just let kids be, instead we have the pressure, like we feel, oh, if my child's just doing this, perhaps they're not doing right. And, then they will not settle down. They will not have a proper job tomorrow. Or like we worry about all the options. But if we just all operated in our own light, it's all perfectly made. Like we will get the job or whatever pressures, whatever we are thinking, we will all get that because it was all pre planned anyway, that this is what we're supposed to do. We'll all get those things and we'll all be much happier if we stop trying to conform to the system as much.
I love that. Yes. I'm here for everything you just said. I
Yeah,
love
like
it.
think of the world and think of like all the people who are different. Like think of Steve Jobs, he changed the world. Like all the people who have been such blessings, are there are lots of people who've actually been very different and they've
Mm-hmm.
actually followed their passion.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere we've got to believe that, oh, all like the spiritual stuff, this is all woo woo, or like, well, work's got to be hard, or you should not really enjoy because, then you're not serious. Like work generally, there is more permission to be a workaholic than to not be.
Yeah.
It's almost like a pattern that, okay, you have to work hard to get money. Your job is going to be hard. It's like, and I mean, think
Yeah.
of it. If we all knew this, right? As souls, we incarnate here. Like, really, if life was supposed to be this tough, why would you come down? Why would anyone come down?
Yeah. Yeah. We make it way more difficult for ourselves, definitely. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Like listening to you and you mentioned following our divine path and how beneficial that is to us. Going back to the Akashic Records, I'd love to know how you kind of like use that in helping people to recognize what their path is. Or you mentioned soul contracts earlier when you spoke about your daughter, or what that means and how that can play out in our lives. I'd love for you to speak on that.
Yeah. So, okay, let's start with what the Akashic Records are. They are our soul's library of anything and everything that's happened in this lifetime or the other lifetimes. Um, so if I even backtrack from there, we are all bodies. I'm Kanika right now. You are Kertia, and we're talking right now. But in another lifetime, I would have had another form. Sometimes I would have been a female. I would have been a male. I would have not chosen to be any of that. I would have been on Earth. I would have been on other galaxies, whatever we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the soul is like that sum total of awareness. And why is the soul doing this? Like getting to all of these lifetimes and doing all these different things. It's similar. Like it wants to learn as well, almost like how we want to experience things in our life here. Like we'll go out to a lot of movie cinemas. We want to watch different styles of movies. Sometimes we want something that is a little sad. Sometimes we want to watch a romantic movie and so on, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit like what the soul wants to do as well. So if I was to give you a metaphor for that, imagine an apple and then cut that into 1,000 slices.
Mm-hmm.
So once you do that and you take a little slice out, which actually is almost like paper thin, right? It's such a thin slice that comes out because you've cut it into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
That's one lifetime for your soul. So this is this lifetime, like this body is just that 1,000 part of that whole apple, which looks like you can almost see through it. It's such a thin slice.
Yeah.
So my whole story is that whole apple. Because it's the sum of like whatever I've learned across all the other lifetimes. Now, what do I want to learn as an example? So maybe my soul wants to learn about love. So in one lifetime, it will go like, okay, let's experience love and let's just have unconditional love. So we'll have a lot of people loving us, see what that feels like. Another time, it might be like, well, okay, but just sort of done with that. Why don't I have someone who breaks my heart? And then it's like, okay, why don't we sort of multiply it? Maybe this time someone breaks my heart, someone also cheats me of money because I just wanted to have that experience. And then it's like, well, what if I turn the table around and I broke someone's heart, or I cheated them, or I cheated on them with another person? So all of that for the soul is just learning about love, because it's trying to understand what happens, like what expands in the physical body. How do I feel when, and that's why they say, when you come to earth, that's like your physical feeling place. That's why everyone wants to come here. So it wants to understand, well, how do I expand when I receive so much love? How do I contract? What happens when I do not have love? What happens when I don't have love from a colleague or from a boss? And then what happens? How is it different from, let's say, not having love from your mom? You see, like for the soul, it's almost like different science experiments.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, let's send you to this movie cinema and let's see what is your virtual reality experience here.
Oh
Then
my
you go to another one,
goodness.
then you go to another one.
Mine has
So
been a
mean,
hot mess.
but yeah, so our soul or our life, like it's just a virtual reality slice, right? That
Yeah.
1000 beats, which is this lifetime. So we will feel whatever we feel in this body, and we go like, okay, this is a mess, or this is really crap. But here's the fun thing. So soul is not doing it to make you feel bad. Soul is doing it because it wants to evolve, and also you still have the power. So there's something like destiny points in your life, and then there's something which we've heard of again is you are the creator. So if you wanted to change your story at any point in time, you can always do that because you are the creator. So with my daughter as an example, so when we have the soul contract, it's not like, well, on this day this will happen and then this will happen. It's not like that at all. It's not milestone based. It's not event based. It's very intention based. So my soul contract was that if I am growing, that's okay, nothing happens. And then if I'm not growing, then do things so that, help me and help me wake up. So they're trying with the simpler things. They're trying to give me little nudges like, hey, you're not happy right now. You are burnt out. You have to work when you really want to rest. They are giving me subtle signs. They're giving me signs that you are just doing things for other people. You're not really listening to your own inner voice. They were giving me signs. I did not listen. It's very intention based because it's all, I am the creator still. So they keep allowing me, they keep allowing me, they keep allowing me. And then, based on the agreements or that destiny, it's like, okay, this is, you have really come to learn about your own power, rising in your own power. And you're not really doing that. So this is, and that's destiny point is like the fixed point. So if I was to give an example, let's say you're supposed to drive in a car and it's a complete wide area, like there's no highway, there's no lanes or anything, you can go anywhere. But it's required for you to go at one point in time, go through like a tunnel, which is the destiny point tunnel, and only then you can pass from that one land to another land. Like that's the bridge that connects both, right? Like at some point in time, this is what you need to cross. So that's that destiny point. So that's already decided. Like that's what I've already signed up for when I came here as a soul, that, okay, I want to learn about just rising in my power. And that had to happen. So it is still, when I look at the whole apple, I still am the creator. And this is the beauty about Akashic Records as well, because a lot of what happens in our life is we're carrying sometimes those scars from this current life, where we feel life is hard, where we have those patterns. I'll give you examples. Um, so there can be karmic patterns. Karmic patterns could be, let's say, someone just keeps having toxic relationships, one after the other, after the other. So
I think I signed up for that one.
oh, me too. Me too. Me too. And that's how I know. And that's why I'm giving the example.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is, yes, the people around you, the one you are in a relationship with, they are to be blamed. They did the wrong thing. But, person one, person two, person three, I'm still the common denominator.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the realization that, oh, okay, there is something that I need to do with myself.
Yeah.
And so that is the karmic pattern. That's where we've got to resolve it and look at why is it that we keep attracting those people.
Mm-hmm.
So you will clear so for that, we clear the karma. We also clear our mindset, our belief that we might have around that as well. Because if it's impacted us so many times, there might be a belief, a limiting belief that we have around it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those karmic patterns can be in the families as well. Like family, common family pattern can actually be around relationships too. Like where you would see the generations not really happy in their relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So
I have that too.
me too. Oh, we could keep doing that. Yeah. But the good news is that you can break that. You can be the cycle breaker there.
Yeah.
And you can go, okay, this ends with me, and you can clear that family pattern as well. Then we have soul contracts, like I explained with my daughter, which is like also brings us to the destiny points in our Akashic records. Sometimes our soul, based on what it's experienced, like in the other slices, if let's say we were killed, we might have a wounding there as a soul. We might lose a part of ourselves. So you could then think of the apple, and you could think like it getting a little moldy maybe, or it's getting a little rotten, because that's the soul that's impacted. If it's not a healthy apple, then the soul's getting impacted. But when you work in the Akashic records, because it contains the entire story, and that is sort of how you're getting the apple slice of this lifetime, so you can clean the apple, you can heal the soul. When you start healing that, you clear away the karmic patterns, you clear away the energetic interferences in between, you clear away sometimes the other people or other beings that come in between as well. That's walk-ins are a little bit common as well. We just don't know. And it's almost like when somebody drives your car instead of you, and then they do things with it. Example of a walk-in could be, or like someone else operating through you is, let's say when you're angry, and a lot of times when we are angry, we say something and we go like, gosh, I don't know where that came from. Like that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And that is because somebody was driving your car. Like you don't know, but somebody got in your car and they crash it, etc., etc. Whatever they do, you live with that consequence, but it was somebody else driving it and not you. So a lot of times when we feel confused, when we feel like our heads, we're not able to concentrate, because what's really happening in our car, like in our body, there's just different people in there who are sitting there. So it's a very crowded car, and we are like one tiny piece in that car. So that's why we get muddled with all the thoughts. But when you're doing all the healing in the Akashic records, you can clean all those people off as well, and you can reclaim your car for yourself. So life becomes a lot cleaner. It's like, imagine tuning into the radio. Well, no one does it anymore. But but if you could still remember that time, like when the channel is not clear and then suddenly the channel is clear, it's that bit.
Yeah.
Where it's really still okay. Where like if you and I are talking, the signal is not weak, the signal's really good, we can understand each other. Whatever you want to do in your life, that's really possible. The light ahead for you is very clear, where you need to go, where you want to go. That is what the Akashic Records can do, or what energy healing can do for you, because it just cleans away all the other spider webs and all the other dirt, all the other heaviness, all that stuff. And so you're left with a much lighter and higher vibration in your life.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, you mentioned walk-ins, and I think this is something that we don't, well, I don't hear being spoken a lot about. Um, you know, I think from my knowledge as well, another aspect of that is like when you take substances, right? And how that can impact you. Like if you know that one person that when they drink a lot of alcohol, their personality completely changes, right? It's
Yes.
like they become a completely different human being. Yeah, I think I've seen that occur with people, even in my own family, whereby they just become a completely different human being when they
Yeah,
drink
and
alcohol.
sometimes we allow that.
Yeah.
A lot of times, all the things that happen, our soul has a lot of free will. Like we have, it is a free will planet. A lot of times we give permission to this. And now it sounds like, why? Why would you give permission to that? But again, I'll give examples. Let's say, first time I was driving a car. And
Mm.
now I don't know what to drive. I'm younger, right? I don't know when I'm supposed to like apply the brakes and so on. So I'm not grounded. I'm not really connected. I'm not fully in my body. And
Mm.
that's when someone else can come and sit in my car. And they were both car examples. But that's when someone else can come and sit in my body, because I'm really saying, okay, I need someone or I need help so that I can drive it. So when we are
Mm.
scared, when we are, that's when we get like our normal state, our normal grounded state is when we are grounded. We are not as affected by things around us. That's when we are fully in the body. And that's why observe kids. There's such a good exercise. Like, even if you don't have kids around you, like just watch kid videos, watch real kids, like just doing their thing and so on. Watch kids in a playground. But you will know that they have a sense of centeredness. They're okay with the nature. They'll like play by themselves or whatever they're doing, but they're very much in their body. They know what they want most of the times. And as adults, we lose that more and more because we're trying to do what someone else wants us to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of walk ins, the things to check for are if you're saying things that are not yours, if there's clouded emotions, if you're not clear about things. And sometimes we take pride in that. Like we go, oh, I really enjoy having a drink,
Mm.
because then, like, there's this fun side of me that comes out. But you could be in your body and you could still have fun. Like, you wouldn't need alcohol for that.
Yeah.
When you are happy, this is the longer term happiness. Alcohol or other happiness hits, let's say, which is all incentivized in the world today, drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
um, even like gaming or all those things, when you get those high spikes but you come back and you're still sad, that's just a spike. That's not your state of happiness. The state of happiness is when you are happy, like this. So
Yeah.
like something happens, you're happy. Something doesn't happen, you're happy. Like you wake up in the morning, you're happy. Like, what that would mean is you're excited about your days.
Yeah.
You are generally balanced. Also, you will notice outside things in your life, like life will go a lot more smoothly. You are not upset. You are not in a rush. It's
Yeah.
all going okay. That's the happiness. That's the, I want to say more zen, but it's like more calm. It's more longer lasting
Yeah.
happiness. And that's what is that's when you are in control of your body. That's when you are in control of your own car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great example. I think, the way that we have been programmed to live our lives and see ourselves, and the way that we've been programmed to do all the society things, we're so far away from that just like that state where
Calmness.
we're grounded. And so naturally we seek those hits, right? Whether it's through drugs, sex, alcohol, all the things, right? So I don't know, like, how do you then, from your experience, like, how do you find, for example, like a balance from indulging in the things that you generally enjoy, but not using it as a means to escape?
I think that would depend on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would depend on what you want to do. Let's start here. There's lots of people who understand that they want to change something with their life.
Mm.
Lots. When you feel like you're not happy or you're disconnected, you're burnt out, like you get enough signals, then a lot of people will have crashing relationships and they know that they want to change something. And usually, this is what happens. This is what I've seen is people will go and they will make themselves really busy.
Mm.
That's one pattern where
Yeah.
they go, okay, I'm just going to go out and I'm just going to do lots of things because that's their way of escaping because it's so hard to be in the body. Then the other thing could be like taking some other substances, watching a lot of movies, like just being busy somehow
Yeah.
because it is so hard to be with yourself inside. So,
Mm-hmm.
first, you have to come to a place where you're okay to be with you. And I've been in that place. Like, I've been to the place where it was very hard for me when I was, grieving the loss of my daughter. I knew I had to shift something, but it was just very hard. And all that I used to do then, and you have to find your own thing, like, how can you just be with yourself and surround yourself with positive thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
You have to find your stuff, but see what are the little things that help you. Like even little things. You could go with, okay, I like journaling or I like going out. And maybe those things are at that time very intimidating because you still have to like face yourself. And I'll
Mm.
explain why that is very hard at that time to just sit down with yourself. Because the moment you start sitting down and being alone and like quietening the noises, you notice so there's all these other people in your car, or all these people came in because of certain things where you call them. So when I'm saying people, I also mean like someone else's thoughts, someone else's judgment. But right now you don't know that it's someone else, you're actually reading it as yours. Like someone else had told you when you were younger that you should keep quiet, or someone had said that this is not good and you are not enough in some way. So when all of those thoughts sit inside you, or all those people sit inside you, you are looking at that and you're going, this is me. And you don't like it then. And that's your first time or your first few times when you're sitting with yourself. That's why the road to start that inner healing journey is very, very hard,
Yeah.
because it's very brave. It takes a lot of courage to sit inside and look at all of that, which appears to be all you.
Mm.
So, the other thing you could do is start finding the positive people who'll help you. Now, that could be there are lots of podcasts now, there are lots of other books. My time I was listening, there's a lot that's available on YouTube as well, but find the people who speak to you and whose thoughts you will resonate with, because you need a good dose of that, like coming in,
Yeah.
because you've got all this negativity that you're seeing and feeling. So you need to have like a positive system. If you want to have a coach, if you want to have a teacher around that time, that's good to do as well. You can bring that in, and then start asking the universe, say, help
Mm.
me. We don't do that. Like just say, help me, help me. What do I do so that I feel better? Um, and ask again and again, ask for a sign. There are, if we look at the emotions chart, when you want to climb up with a higher vibration, gratitude comes in very high
Mm.
vibration, like especially if you're in the lower vibrations of sadness and so on. So you could just start going with gratitude. And in the beginning, it might feel like, might feel like what a silly exercise this is, but you could really start doing gratitude, and there's enough to be thankful about. Like I used to be thankful to water, I still am, because where I am, well, I can drink water from the tap. And even if you can't, let's say you're getting bottled water, somebody is giving you bottled water. Like somehow that bottled water is reaching your space, you know?
Mm.
So think of the process that's happened and how it's all coming into your place. Think of the food that you buy. Think of, there would have been a farmer who's grown it somewhere, then someone's picked it, shipped it. You're getting that fruit or vegetable or meat, you're getting that to your space. Like there's a lot that we can be thankful about. Maybe we have better bodies than other people, healthier bodies. Maybe we are more comfortable than other people, like we have place to sleep, sit down, relax, whatever you can find. But everything starts with you, and it's up to you to start bringing in that higher light. So gratitude is a good place. Even
Mm.
thanking the universe, the sky, the sun, the earth, the stars, whatever you can find, but just do that gratitude more and more. Because here's the cool thing, the more you do it, like the higher vibration will attract more of that higher vibration. It will start coming back to you if you're listening to all
Mm.
those great people. And there's so many who are talking on these spiritual podcasts, so to speak, or YouTube channels, whoever is whoever you feel aligned with. But when you listen to them, then your
Mm.
vibration is going to rise. But separate yourself from the lower vibration things. Come to places that actually make you that longer time happy,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
give you more peace, where you don't need that hit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. That was great. So I want to know, like, because you mentioned energy healing before, are you currently incorporating any energy healing? Because I know the work that you're doing with the Akashic Records, that is a lot in itself. Like, you can get so much done accessing the Akashic Records, but are you also implementing other forms of healing modalities into the work that you're currently doing?
Yeah, so I do energy healing as well, with the Akashic Records. That's the big thing. Like people want to know the root cause of why something happened, but
Yeah.
that's all right. Even if you know, even if you're aware, that's just one bit of it. And so what I love to do and what I love to spend time on is the energy healing. Now, I that would be the ego in me if it said that, oh, I do the energy healing and it's so great. But actually, what happens when I sit down in the Akashic Records, it's such high vibration. And that time I just have spirit guides who, like, sometimes they're my spirit guides, sometimes they're other angels and beings who are like coming and doing something, which is just so cool. So
Mm.
they come and then they do the healing as well in the Akashic Records reading that I do. So, which is really amazing because I do see a very big shift with my clients, the before and after. And that's because
Wow.
I allow myself to just be the channel. My intention always is that whatever root cause you've had, like let's say if you've had a history of toxic relationships, or I am also recently attracting a lot of clients with co-parenting things, where they want to have like just a better space for their kids, or they're having some sort of battle with the ex, while they have kids, and just wanting to keep all of that more peaceful because you've still got a family in between and you want to grow them with as much love, give them as much freedom as you possibly can. But what I notice, the before and the after, is like we look at it energetically, we understand what had happened, and then it's almost like you do the healing. And by the time it's all done, like the energy is so clear, it's just so different. And so the legal battles, like the stories where, the client, their ex has filed a legal battle against them for child custody. And it's like a very strong claim,
Yeah.
where they're going to lose the daughter, like lose the rights to see her as often. And then it's just like, oh, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. And that comes from the ex. And so it's just all gone, poof.
Wow.
So those sorts of things I'm witnessing a lot with the Akashic Records reading and healing. And that's why it's amazing to be able to do that. But I actually also do teach energy healing. And I also teach, I just do meditation circles, the moon meditation circles, with the
Mhm.
full moon and the new moon, because that's my way of just bringing more people in and just giving them other options as well, like the Akashic Records reading and healing. That's just a much more costlier option. Plus,
Mhm.
more and more, if you want to do it, like you need to have the sessions again and again, right? Like they're transformative, but they're premium service.
Yeah.
And so the moon meditations and the energy healing circles is when I teach you how to do it. And then you can go ahead and you can do it. And that's like me teaching you to fish so you can keep fishing.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love it. So, like with all that being said, we've touched on so many things today. Like, what message do you have for people like right now?
Well, I want to say I was just tuning into the people who would be listening to this podcast and just that group energy. And the biggest message that's coming here is around self love. Like a lot of times we feel like life's lacking for us. And just a gentle reminder that life is our mirror. So we feel like it's all happening to us, but actually, life is a mirror of what's inside. And I know that hurts. That's like,
Yeah.
how? What are you saying?
Like, what?
But
Am I that messed up inside?
so, but there's a little tiny part in you where whatever you feel you're not receiving outside, there's a
Yeah.
tiny part in us where we are not accepting, where we are like really critical of ourselves, especially this group today. We're very, very critical of ourselves. We're really judging ourselves. We're really going like, why haven't I done this? So just giving ourselves permission that it's okay. And permission meaning like how you would do it with a little child, how you would do it perhaps with your best friend, how you would do it with someone else you really so cared about. Like just give yourself a hug and that little part of you a hug because it really wants that. So just give that part a hug where you feel like you messed up and you did something. And even if you don't completely understand that, you could just still hug yourself and you could just go, well, I don't know what all parts I'm not really seeing or appreciating about myself right now, but I want to love myself more. And that much is still a beginning. Like trust a little bit more, especially have trust with yourself. And that's when you will see that the world outside will start changing. That's all. It's not meant to punish you. It's not meant to like also you haven't done anything wrong. Like we might be feeling in our bodies that, oh, this is something right, this is something wrong that I've done. We are judging ourselves. The soul is not. Remember, the soul was just going out and having an experience. So there's no one judging you.
Yeah.
We judge on earth, but nobody is judging you. You were meant to have a full experience. So there is absolutely no way you can do anything wrong. So just give yourself a hug and just allow yourself to be.
Yeah. That's a beautiful message, Kanika. I love that. Okay, so we'll just end off by, like you telling us where we can find you, and access your services, all that good stuff.
Yep. So I do have an amazing offer for anyone who's interested and anyone who wants to explore more. So I have a freebie. It's around the soul contracts that we have in parenting. So why do you have your child? Why did they choose you? Why did you choose them? What are the karmic patterns you have with your child? And how can you clear them? That's all the freebie. It's a 3-part audio series, not very long. Every day I send you perhaps like they're not all exactly 10 minutes, but it's just a 10 minutes of me talking and 10 minutes of me telling you what to do and so on. And that's like, there's nothing you have to do after the audios and so on, but it's very cool because you start understanding what is the bigger story with your child. What does their apple look like? What does your apple look like? And how your apple's connected, how you're both helping each other, how are you both triggering each other? And then you can
Yeah.
clear out those triggers as well so that your relationship is a lot more loving and a lot more enjoyable. So that can be found at artoflifecenter.com/parent. So the center is a CENTER, artoflifecenter.com/parent. And otherwise, I'm on Insta and I'm on LinkedIn at Kanika Energy Coach. Kanika is Kanika Energy Coach. Come say hi. I would love to know your story. I would love to know what's happening with you and help you out because that's my passion.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kanika. This was fun.
Thank you, Kertia. I had a ball here. Thank you so much.